أهلا وسهلا.
مرحبا.
All right, so as of today, all of you here have had basically, those that started with Arabic here at Georgia College, Pennsylvania, you've had basically 5 hours approximately of Arabic. Today's like your 6th hour. And until now, we have been doing things orally, okay, orally and orally. Okay? So today we're going to start to learn about Arabic script. Before we turn to that, though, I want to do a rapid review of some of the things that we've learned orally and orally, and then I'm going to use that material to teach you the Arabic script. Okay? So let's review a little bit. One, ismi.
Ismi.
Okay, tell me what it means. Okay, and later, if it's a question, to who we might address it. Okay, so what's ismi?
My name is.
Okay, very good. Ma ismak. What does that mean?
What is your name to a male?
To a male, okay? Ma ismik.
Ma Ismik. What is your name to a female?
Very good, okay? And then after we had ma ismak, we had tasharafna.
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 What's tasharafna? Say it again.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. And the response, kind of a knee-jerk response to tasharafna is?
Forza Saida.
All right. And some people might start with Forza Saida. So if they do, what do you do? Tasharafna, or just repeat the exact same fact, okay? And as I remember, I told you before, that stems from a verse in the Quran that says when someone greets you, greet them with something equal or preferably something even better, right? So there's like a one-upsmanship of greetings, okay? So, kif hala, okay? From kif hala. Okay, so what does kif hala mean?
How are you to a male?
How are you to a male, okay? And what would we say to a woman?
Keep
Halik. Okay, very good. And what is the standard response to either one? Alhamdulillah. Now we can expand on that then and say Bakhair, right? Alright, so what's Bakhair?
Very good.
Fine or very good, anything along those lines, okay? And then we can add to that Shukran, which is? Thank you. Or Shukran Jazilan. Thank you very much. And if someone just says shukran, like for doing something for you, right? Well, what do you respond back to shukran? Afwan. Thank you. Okay, afwan. All right. All right. So after that we had hal tatakalam al-lugha al-arabiyya. What would that mean? Hal tatakalamina al-lugha al-arabiyya.
Speak Arabic to a woman.
You speak Arabic and we're speaking to a woman. For the rest of your lives, what is the only acceptable answer? Na'am. Everyone?
Na'am.
Okay, we need more enthusiasm.
Na'am.
Na'am. Okay? Na'am, and then what? Qalila. Okay? Qalila. Now later, we're going to start with Modern Standard, okay? And then later on, a couple weeks from now, we're going to go back and redo the things that you two can do in Modern Standard, except we're going to do it in a dialect. And I just chose Egyptian dialect here because, you know, the influence of Egyptian films, and a lot of people understand Egyptian as a dialect rather widespread throughout the Arab world. I could have chose Moroccan or some other dialect, but I just chose Egyptian. Okay? All right. And I thought, too, that if you guys in the future, if you're going to go anywhere, you might possibly have a chance to go maybe see the pyramids, you know, in Egypt or something like that. Hopefully we will get to travel further around in the Arab world, but, you know, as a minimum, that's how I decided on Egyptian dialect for our class. All right. So, the last time we were here, we were starting on some foodstuffs, and we're starting to learn the pattern. Ana urid. Everyone? Ana urid. Ana urid. What would ana urid mean?
I would want.
I want or I would like. Ana urid. Okay, that's standard, modern standard Arabic, or al-fusha in Arabic. So we have ana urid dajaj.
أنا أريد دجاج.
Okay, so what's dajaj?
Chicken.
Chicken. Okay. Ana urid shay.
أنا أريد شاي.
What would that be?
Tea.
Ana urid samak.
أنا أريد سمك.
So what would that be?
Fish.
Okay. Ana urid asir portugal.
أنا أريد عصير برتقال.
What would that be?
Orange juice.
Okay. Hal turid.
أنا أريد.
Hal turid.
أنا أريد.
What would that mean?
What would you like?
What would you like?
What do you want or what would you like for a guy? Hal turidina?
أنا أريد.
What would that be?
What would you like to?
What do you like for a woman? Okay, and the response ana urid is for irrespective of gender. Ana urid, and then what you might like. How would we say rice? Arroz. Ana urid arroz. Ana urid arroz. Everyone?
أنا أريد رز.
Okay. Arroz is directly related to some Romance language spoken in Europe. Spanish, right? So Spanish got that word, arroz, directly from the Arabs, okay? All right, so let's add some things. Ana urid qahwa.
أنا أريد قهوة.
So what are we saying there? Coffee, okay? Let's add. Ana urid ma'.
أنا أريد ماء.
Notice in modern standards, ma, and then that is a glottal stop. That's a linguistic term, but always say the word apple. In the word apple in English, the first sound you hear, not the first letter that's written, but the first sound you hear is a glottal stop. Apple. It's like when you go uh-oh, like uh-oh, SpaghettiOs from a TV commercial. That is actually a consonant sound in Arabic. Now here's a peculiar thing. There's a symbol for it, but that symbol is not part of the alphabet. Yet, in order to write Arabic, you must know that symbol. Right? So we'll talk about that in a little bit. All right, so everyone, ana urid ma.
أنا أريد ماء.
Okay, so ana urid halib.
أنا أريد حليب.
What's halib?
No.
Milk, everyone. Ana urid halib.
أنا أريد حليب.
Good. Okay, samak urid. Oh, how about this? Ana urid batata.
أنا أريد حليب.
What do you think that is? Wait a minute, I didn't even give you a vocabulary handout. You didn't have a vocabulary list, nothing like that, and you knew it right away? How could that possibly be? Very good, okay? So very often, Arabic's going to be contextual language, and sometimes you're going to hear words that are borrowed from one place or another, and we'll work from there. At the end of this class today, what I did is I have a handout over here on various food things. There's like 40-some food groups there. That'll give you some things. The next time that we work orally and orally with the food groups, we're going to add some each time we meet a little bit. Just as a warm-up to get like our brain shifted into Arabic gear. All right? Are there any questions up until now? No questions? Now, I sent all of you that are in this classroom a link to a Quizlet that had like foods and all this sort of thing in it. How many looked at that or saw it? Okay, not very useful right now because it's an Arabic script, okay? But one of my former students created that for students in the future, and you're one of the first group of the students in the future that are going to be able to make use of that. Okay? All right. It's a little bit warm here. Do you mind if I take off my jacket? No? Okay. Thank you. Shukran. Shukran. Oh, alhamdulillah. Okay. Now we did learn some other things too before we start the writing. Your favorite thing, count for me from 0 to 10.
صفر واحد اثنين ثلاثة أربعة خمسة ستة سبعة ثمانية تسعة عشرة.
Ashra. Good. All right. So, John.
Yeah,
John. We're going to be ustad for a day. So I want you to stand up, face the class, and I want you to lead them from 11 to 19. So listen to John, and then repeat after John from 11 to 19 with our Arabic numerals 11 to 19.
اوكي.
تفضل.
11
11
12
12
13
13
14
14
15
15
16
16
17
17
18
18
19
19
20
20
Oh, very good. ممتاز. شكرا جزيلا.
شكرا على وجهك.
لا شكر على واجب. No thanks are necessary for a duty or obligation. Okay? How do we do 21? واحد وعشرين 21. Okay, 30.
30
What couple? 30. Everyone?
30
All right, 40. 40. 50. 50. 60. How would you do 69? تسعة وستين 79. 99. How do we say 100? 1,000. Is there any famous literature that has the word alphabet in Arabic? So what is that? Anyone else? Oh no. Eric. Alphabet Layla.
Repeat it back.
No. Tell me in brief. What's the story? Very quickly. In about 1 minute.
Girl's gonna die if she doesn't keep the king, and she just tells him a bunch of stories every night, and then says, "Hey, I'm gonna cut it off before the end, and then tell you the end tomorrow." So he has to keep her alive every day, and this goes on for 1,000 days until he falls in love with her.
Very nice.
Cool.
Okay. Oh, Doso. How did that start? The non-Disney version.
He went off to a war, and once he came back, he found his brother having an affair with his wife. Then he killed his wife, and he exiled his brother.
And from that night on, it was the Mad King, every single night. All right, good, very good. All right, so not too bad for 5 hours of Arabic. So very good, okay? Arabic's pretty hard, and to remember all that, be able to regurgitate that and speak and everything is very good. So now we're going to take a look at the written language, okay? So, until now, I have not allowed you to pick up a pen or pencil to take any notes. I know it was frustrating. But today, get out a pen, pencil, notebook, whatever you want, because we are going to look at Arabic script starting today. Okay? First of all, some people will tell you, many people will tell you, that Arabic has 28 letters. How many letters does English have? 26. So, hey, only 2 extra ones, no big deal. All right, so we have 28 letters. Now, those who tell you that are sort of being dishonest, because each of these 28 letters have 4 variations. Now, how many do we have?
A lot.
Oh, you were a mathematician, right? You were telling me down to the thousandth.
Yeah, it's
112.
112. Right? So there's the bad news. All right? So we have to know 112 forms to be able to start to write and read Arabic. But then there's a catch. We have to know some symbols and forms that aren't in the alphabet, or we can't write alphabet, or we can't write Arabic. Now, for the good news. Of these 112 start not in alphabetical order, but rather we're going to start with things you already know how to say. All right? So we're going to build up. But I have to wait for you to have about 3 letters before we can start to write a word, okay, for today. All right, so our first letter, the name of the letter is calf. The name of the letter is calf. And it makes the sound as in kitten in English, calf, kitten, okay? So there's 2 things we have to be aware of when we're learning the Arabic script: the name of the letter and the sound that it makes, all right? And later, we're going to look, we also have to know, does it connect to things to the right, and does it connect to the things to the left? The reason that's important is that Arabic is written not left to right, as English is written, but from right to left. And normal, adult Arab writers don't write short vowels. They do write long vowels, however. As adult foreigners and non-heritage speakers, except for one, this is a tremendous hurdle to get over, all right? So we're going to take it step by step. And every class I've ever taught has been able to get over this hurdle. It takes a little bit of time, though, and a lot of practice and energy, all right? So I'm going to tell you now, after we do this today, you have a text, Alif Ba. It takes a little bit different approach, but I want you to finish lesson 1 in Alif Ba before we meet the next time, okay? And what I'm teaching you is going to be kind of the printed form of Arabic, right, that you'll see in books and magazines and signs. And what Alif Ba tries to do is show you not only that, but also what you might call cursive script in Arabic, okay? But whenever I put anything on the board, because you are in Arabic 101, I'll write it in printed Arabic for now and pretty much through the semester. Are we okay so far? All right. If it seems like I'm going too fast, you don't understand something, stop me, say, hey, you're going a little too fast. Don't wait till the end of the semester and say, hey, your class was like trying to take a sip out of a fire hydrant. No, it's too late for me to change then. Right? So I want to adopt a pace where you can absorb the material. Right? So let me know. I need feedback. All right. Our first letter is formed like this. We go down here, around here, and then we put something there that looks sort of like a Superman thing, right? All right? So the name of this letter is Kaf, all right? That's the form that it takes when it's in an independent position, right? When it's all by its lonesome, we have down here, okay? Now later, I gave all of you whiteboards, not today, but the next time. We'll review a little bit, and I gave you whiteboards that have musical notation things on them, so that you can kind of see a line about roughly where it might hang, okay? On the line, or above the line, or below the line. Because in Arabic, there will be sometimes when things are going to dip below a line, or slightly above the line, and we have to know where the dots are above or below. So this is not part of it. This is just roughly a dotted line, roughly where you go mentally, okay, to make a straight line. Later, this is just a little bit of a jump here. When we first start here with Arabic, we write like in a straight line straight across. When I first started studying Arabic, I first started studying it in 1965, and I was pretty comfortable going straight across. And then I started getting, like Arab instructors who never learned about teaching or whatever, and they just went up to the board and started writing Arabic like they normal write. Like the first instructor had that's me. Right? Muhammad. He started here, and then he started writing here, and so it flowed all over the place. We're not going to do that here, little bit later, and that's the way sometimes Arabic is normally written. We're going to go straight across the line because we're in Arabic 101 and learn how to write across the line first, okay? All right. So, when it's all by explosion, it looks like this. Now, Arabic letters are shape shifters, okay? We're almost to Halloween, right? You're talking about like werewolves, stuff like that, things that change their shape depending on the moon or whatever. We don't have to rely on the moon, but these letters do change their shape depending on their position very often. Here's an example. Go here, here, 1, 2, or just 1, and then up like this. This is calf, right? When it is at the beginning of a symbol, a sentence, or the beginning of a syllable. Calf, okay? So now we have independent and initial. Now notice this hangs here because I'm getting ready to go into another letter right after it, okay? Are we good so far? All right, I haven't lost anyone. Great. All right. So now medial calf is when calf appears in the middle of like a syllable or a word. So we have something starts here, comes along, then we go up here, we come back down, and we continue here. Then we go back and put this up. And that's basically calf in the middle. Now, I want to show you something. Right in this part here, notice I have a little space. Some writers connect that, others don't. Okay? It's kind of idiosyncratic. Okay? And I believe your Aleph Bob book shows you this method as well. Okay? But just to let you know, sometimes it'll be connected. All right? All right? Now, here's part of that good news. Very often, the final form will look very similar to the independent form, except there'll be like a running dash into it, and then it might hang down slightly, but not a lot, okay? So we have, something's written here, we go up, we come down, and we end here, and we got the Superman S, or whatever you want to think of it there. Backward Z, whatever, however you want to remember it. Something goes in there on which forms? Okay? On our independent form and our final form. So this wasn't too bad, okay? Not too much damage done there. Yes, question?
So is it like all the letters in the words are connected?
Not all of the letters are connected,
Okay.
okay? Some letters connect both right and left, and some letters, they are connected to from the right, but they don't connect things to the left. And as we go through the letters, I'll point out which ones connect on which side. Did I answer your question?
Yeah.
Great. Okay. All right. Is everyone good up to now? Another question?
Yeah, I was just gonna ask, so initial, medial, and final, that's just where it's in the beginning, in the middle, and then in the end of the word?
Right.
Alright, just make sure.
Okay. Or sometimes a syllable, because sometimes there will be a letter or something before it that won't connect. And in that case, as a final, you might have to use the independent form. But we'll get to that when we get to that. Did I answer your question?
Yes.
Okay, great. Any other questions? All right, so in English, we have a letter Y. What sound does Y make in English?
Why?
Okay, I hear multiple answers. Raise your hand.
Oh.
Someone.
Why, I guess. Why?
Yes. What sound does it make? That's the name of the letter. What sound does it make?
Yep.
Yeah is one sound it makes. What's another sound it makes?
Absolute silence.
Absolute silence is another sound it makes.
E.
E, right? Like only, right? have a letter. The name of the letter is Ya, but it's going to have two different sounds. All right? The trick is knowing which sound is when. Now, for Arabs growing up, they already know words because they've heard words for 3 or 4 years, and they simply know, oh, okay, that's that word, and that's how we write it now. But for us, we have kind of a double whammy. We have to not only know which letter, how it changes, but also which sound for the ya if we have a word that happens to have ya in it. So we have to know when it's going to be pronounced one way or when it's going to be pronounced another way. So let's look at ya. This is ya by its lonesome, independent. I'm going to write it over here in a second. Okay? That's the name of the letter. And it too can have two sounds. Y, like in yes, or E, right? Like in only, E, just like in English. Okay? Most of the time, when it's the first letter in a word or syllable, most of the time it's pronounced y, y. Some exceptions. And right now I'm talking about the standard language. You'll find in dialect sometimes it's like just the opposite of standard. But for right now, let's keep it as simple as possible and look at the standard this. And when it's in the middle of a word, generally it's pronounced E. And we're going to find later on when there's some combinations of vowels surrounding it, it might be combined with those vowels to make what's called a diphthong. That's like part of one sound and part of another sound that creates a third sound that's not quite the one or the other one, but in between, like A or something like that. But right now, let's just go with the pure sound, all right? So we have the name of the letter is Ya. Now notice down here, I put 2 dots, okay? Sometimes what you'll see in Arabic here are 2 diamonds. If you see diamonds, it's just a font thing, right? It's the equivalent of printed dots. So don't let it throw you. And if you're writing yourself, like quiz, homework, whatever, just put dots. You don't have to carefully mark out and put diamonds. I forgot to mention that one time and had one student, and every single time he carefully made diamond things. They were beautiful diamonds, but it was like a lot of effort that wasn't necessary. So I always make sure to mention that now, because I've been doing it so long I don't think of it sometimes. And I have to take myself back and say, okay, I have beginners that are just starting, I gotta mention this, all right? Okay. So the independent form looks like that. It goes here, this dips down, comes like that. This can be broader or smaller, that's relative, idiosyncratic with the writer. Okay. Notice it's 2 dots below there. 2 dots below it. That's important. Now when I have the initial form of Ya, I'm here, and I put my 2 dots below it here, okay? So this is probably Y, because it's going to be the initial form. May not be in some cases, but most of the time. Most of the time, but not always. You're going to hear that a lot in Arabic. Most of the time it's like this, except, and then all the other exceptions, right? Okay. When it's medial, it goes here, up here a little bit, and then here. This should not be very high, this part here. This little tittle here, or should be relatively low. I'm doing it higher to exaggerate it so you can see what's going on the board. Okay? And then we put 2 dots underneath it. Alright? at the end, here, we come here, and then come around here like this, and we have 2 dots as the final form. Okay? So now we have 2 letters. We have the name of the letter, cat. The sound it makes is k, as in kitten. Right? Then we have the name of the letter, ya. Right? And the sound it makes are 2 sounds, either y or e. And we have the shape that it changes to, depending on whether it's initial in a syllable or word, whether it's in the middle, or whether it's at the end. Okay. Are we good so far? All right, excellent. So, the next letter I want to talk about is called fa. Everyone? Fa. Fa is the name of the letter. Fa. Right? The sound it makes is just like R, F. Like, oh my instructor's really fat. I wonder how he got that way. Right? Oh, eating lots of Arab food throughout my life, right? Okay? Well, say American food. I've got a lot of Arab food, but I wouldn't be so fat. Okay? But like F as in fat, that sound, okay? So we have the name of the letter is fat. The sound it makes is okay? Now, let's look at the actual letter. The independent form will look something like this. Okay? That's all by its lonesome. So I'm going to put it here in independent column. Okay? So the name of the letter is fa. The sound it makes is however you want to represent that on your notes. Okay? Now, what happens when I make the initial part of fa is basically this little hook part here is going to flatten out. All right? So let's look at that. Okay? But I still need, and this is critical, this dot. After a while, you're going to say, oh, these darn dots. Right? Because there's a tendency when you first start Arabic, as an adult foreigner, to forget where the dots are. All right? But it's really, really important. And the reason it's important, just previews of coming attractions, is if I wouldn't have that dot there, it would be mistaken for a letter N. Right? So right now we need this dot there. All right. So that's initial. Medial, we have something here that we've written here. We go here, we go around, and we keep going here, and we put a dot there. Remember that dot might be seen as a diamond in like newsprint or magazines or something like that. Okay? Okay? And again, the final is often very similar to the independent. Sometimes there's a little bit of embellishment or a little flair to the end when you have the final, but you have this coming into it, and then the final form there, okay? So it'd be like going this direction, and then around, and then up, and then coming back and dotting it at the end. This is not part of it, it's just narrow to show you the direction. How are we okay? Question?
What's the name, please,
Okay, the name of this one is we have ya.
Yeah.
What's the sound it makes?
Yeah.
Y or E. And then what's the name of this letter? Tha. And what sound does it make? Right? Okay. So, now I'm going to write something in Arabic on the board. Alright? And when you think you know it, I want you to put up your hands, okay? Don't just blurt it out. Okay? John, be patient. Okay? Alright. Okay, so there's a word in Arabic. Okay? Alright, so we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Anyone else? Do I have 8 yet? Maybe not. Alright. Eric, what's the first letter?
It's calf.
Alright, good.
Okay.
Alright. Dosa, what's the next letter?
Yeah.
Ya. In this case, is it going to be pronounced ya?
E.
E. Alright. Who else has it? Alright.
Just the last one, or
Yeah, the last one.
da,
Say it again.
da?
Tha?
Do you want like what letter is it? Or
Yeah, what letter is it?
Da. Is that how you say it? Or do you want like the
The
sound?
name of the letter.
Da. Da.
Tha.
Da.
Tha.
Yeah.
Okay?
Oh,
Tha.
oh.
And what sound does it make? Anyone? Th. Alright. So this is how we write what word? Okay. Over here.
Keith?
Keith. Okay? So this is how we write Keith. Okay? And in Arabic, that's how we write a question mark. Okay? No, we don't have an upside down one like in Spanish. Okay? Now some other Semitic languages related to Arabic, like Hebrew, they write this our normal way at the end of their words, okay? But for Arabic, this is kind of backwards. So catch yourself, when you're doing that with question words, right? So remember, the question mark is backwards to what ours is, kind of a mirror image. Keith. All right. Are we good so far with these letters? Each day that I teach you the script, I'm going to teach you about 5 to 6 letters. Because remember, 5 to 6 times 4 is, quite a bit, right, of forms, right? So that's a lot to absorb, and then I want you to be able to, use those and learn them, okay? All right. May I erase this? No, I'm going to continue. That's why I'm asking you, may I erase this if you have this, okay? Because I know that a lot of students like to wait until the end of the class and then run up to the board and take a picture of the blackboard. But because we don't have enough board space, you have to pretty much take notes, get it down, and then erase. And the other thing too, this goes a little bit down too far, and it's hard for those in the back of the room to see the board if I'm down here. And as is obvious, I'm not exactly someone that's going to play in the NBA anytime soon, right? So it's hard for me to write higher than I do. All right? Okay, so may I erase what I have, or do you still need it? Okay, so if I may erase it, raise your hands. Okay, everyone gives consent? Thank you. sent to you has no English equivalent for the sound. The name of the letter is say, what in the world's that? I'll give you an example. Let's say I came in a classroom, right, eyeglasses, and I see, oh, these beautiful women students and my glasses fog up. Or I come in and it's warm outside and it's cold inside and my glasses steam up. I gotta take off my glasses and go, right, to get all the steam or whatever off my glasses. That is the sound we want, and the name of the letter is ha. Ha. Everyone? Ha. 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 Now there's all kinds of ways they represent this in the English alphabet, Latin alphabet, Roman alphabet, whatever you would call it. All of them is like trying to build a better mousetrap, but none of them can capture it as well as there's an actual letter in Arabic. The name of the letter is ha. Okay, it looks like this, and roughly it'll go like this here, and this will go below the line. See how that goes? And why I have the dotted line now? Ha. So the name of the letter is what? Ha. The sound it makes is and you'll just love this because there's so many sounds in Arabic that can come from the chest or come from the back of the throat. So as I put in the syllabus, sometimes you may experience a sore throat when you start really getting into Arabic for the first time, right? I mean, there's going to be some sounds that are going to sound like you're gargling with Listerine, right? Okay, so we got ha. That's independent. So now the initial, this really changes its shape. It goes here like this and then like this, all right? This is either right on the line or slightly above the line. I just put it here so it wouldn't blur with the, you know, the line below it, so you can see where it's going and where it's traveling to. When it's medial in the middle, something comes up to it, then I stop a little, I come over here, I go down and connect it, and then I keep going. So this one here connects, something can connect to it from the right, and then it can connect to the left. Okay? So it's a connector on both sides. If it's independent, you don't have to worry about it at all. Right? It doesn't connect, it's independent. If it's initial, okay, I put the one line out a little further here so that you can see that it's going to start connecting into something else. Right? Same thing. It's we've already written something, it comes here, we come here, and then continue to make some other letter here in this spot. Alright? Is that about as clear as mud, or are we alright? Good? Okay. Alright. The final form then is like this. We come here, we go here, and we go here. That's one way. Another way you might see it, an alternate way, and also very common, is like this. You'll see both versions. You have to know both versions. Right? And then this will be like going here to connect. Okay? And our dotted line will be somewhere like this. So this might hang below the line here, roughly, okay? You just have to kind of eyeball it to see where it is. And once you get a handle on it, you'll say, oh, okay, I know what letter that is. At first, when you first start writing in quizzes and stuff, if it looks anything like it, I'll give you credit for it. Question?
You said that each one has its own uses for the final one, or for the final part of the.
This is just idiosyncratic with the writer.
Okay, so
Some writers use one, some writers use the other one.
Okay.
And some writers have both forms within the same letter or whatever they're writing when they're going handwriting.
Okay.
Right? I have no idea why, but I've seen that already with teachers on the board doing one thing or another. At the beginning, there'll be something like this, and then at the end, they'll have something like this. You know, so mystery to me. But so you have to be able to recognize either form.
Okay.
Alright.
Also, all of these would be like round, for the initial and the medial, those would both be around the line.
Were they a little,
were they-
like above the line?
Oh, okay, I see what you're saying. Okay.
Sorry.
This part here can be rest right on the line. I just put it above so that you could see
Okay.
the difference here, okay?
Okay, thank you.
But if it's slightly above the line, that's okay, as long as you can distinguish this part here, okay? Because later on, we're gonna have this same shape, but we're gonna start putting dots in various places, right? To get different sounds. Preview of coming attraction. Nothing to worry about today, all right? So this is quite enough. Okay, are we good so far? Have I lost anyone? If I have, let me know now. Alright, so I want to make sure that everyone's on the same sheet of music, so to speak. Alright, it's very important you get a good start at the beginning. Okay. Alright. The next letter I'm going to talk about is a letter whose name is Alif. Everyone? Alif. Alif.
Alif.
All right. I start here and I go down to here and I stop. Okay. So if I'm here, I go down here and I stop on the line. Okay. Okay. That's the independent form. Now, the sound that it makes absolutely no sound. It makes absolutely no sound of its own, by itself. Okay? In order to get a sound for this, we have to have a symbol either above it or below it. Okay? Otherwise, it has no sound when it's all used by its lonesome. Right? Now, it's also used to make a long A sound. Right? So if I have some other letter and I want to make it long A sound, I use that symbol plus this one in order to do that. Right? So let's look at the initial. The initial form of this is like this. Exactly the same as the independent. Alhamdulillah. Right? Huh, we get a break. Finally. Okay? Now, the medial form, we have something written over here, we're coming along, and then we go up here, and then we don't do anything here. It does not connect to anything to its left. In other words, things can connect to Alif from the right, but nothing at any time will allow Alif to connect with anything on the left. That's how you're going to be able to distinguish it, particularly from other letters. And the final form, you'll like this. Is exactly the same as the medial form. Alhamdulillah. So here we have only 2 forms, and of the 4 forms, 2 of them are identical. Sounds good, right? Now, before I do another word, I'm going to teach you another letter, and then we're going to look at a word. Okay? First, what's the name of the letter that I've just written? Alif. What sound does it make? No sound at all. Okay? We need some other stuff there. But it can be used for what type of vowel? Long A. Don't just say A. Because in Arabic we're going to find in standard language we have short vowels and long vowels. This is used to write the long vowel A, okay, which can sound like A or Ah, depending on what consonants right before it and a lot of other things. Okay? And this is the sort of thing that your textbook Alif Ba, and particularly the disc, the CD-ROM, will explain to you in quite a bit of detail. Okay? More than we have time for in a 75-minute class twice a week here. All right. So, next letter. Does that shape look familiar? And that's where we're going to stop with that. Sometimes it might drop below, okay? That's basically there. The name of this letter is Lem. Everyone? Lem. Lem. And it makes an L sound. Okay? Makes an L sound. Lem, L sound. Okay? So that's the independent form. Now, the initial form looks like this. Yes.
So is it supposed to slightly curve to the left?
Yes.
Okay.
Because the lem is a connector, right, to the left. Right? Notice, and this is very important, if you want to distinguish between alif and lem, one of the primary ways to do it is notice alif will not connect to the left. Lem does connect to the left. Okay? Now, the medial form of lem is like this. Does that look similar to anything else you know? It looks similar to alif, but how can you distinguish it again? Lem can be connected from the right, something can connect to it, and then it connects to the left. Whereas alif, something can connect to alif from the right, but alif absolutely, positively does not connect to anything on the left. Okay? All right. Now the final form. Okay? So that's lem as a final. Lem final. All these will have the sound like L sound. Okay? That's the sound that it makes. The name of the letter is lem. Notice something connects from the right, it goes down like this. Okay? And then comes up. Alif does not. This is going to be the tricky one, the medial one. And sometimes the initial one. Remember to distinguish it. If it connects to the left, it's lem. If it doesn't, it's alif. Okay? So now I'm going to write a word. Okay? I'm going to write a word on the board. want you to think about it yourselves. When you recognize what it is, silently raise your hand, and then I can see about how fast it's dawning on people what this word or expression is. Okay? All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7. We have one more left. Oh, 8. Okay, we got 8. All right, so good. All right. So, Eric, I know you're bursting, ready to tell us what this is. So tell us what this is.
A what?
Yeah.
An halak?
It's not only halak, it's also halik. Now, does anyone have a question? What's your question, Andy?
How do you know the difference?
How do you know the difference? Let's see. Oh. Well, Leah, stand up. Okay. John, stand up. Okay. How do you know the difference between the two of these?
I just do.
The what?
I just do.
You just do. How?
Gender.
Gender. Okay, thank you. Sit down. Okay. But sometimes just context. But in Arabic, there's a neat trick that, let's say that we absolutely need to here's a good word for it, disambiguate this so that we know whether it's talking about a man or a woman. Okay? I can make a little mark like this here. The name of that mark is fatha, and that's a short A. And that would be halak. That's to a man. Okay? Now, if I want to say halik, I can make this little mark. It's called kesra. That's a short I. So fatha, short A, kesra, short I. Oh boy, really scared. Okay. And that will tell me that this one is halak and this is halik. Now, in real formal language that we'll look at a little bit later, this would be haluka, haluki. Okay? Now, let us say I write this right before it. Now what do I have? Heave halak or? How do I know the difference?
By the
Context.
Hey, but in this case, I've actually written to disambiguate it by using these markings for short vowel sounds. There are markings, but they're not normally used except for children's books, because children speak dialect at home, then they go to school and learn standard Arabic, right? Fusha. So they have to learn what the different vowing is that's different from the dialect they speak at home. Okay? The second time that it's written in sacred texts, for instance, in the New Testament, you see all the vowing written, right? And also, if you're Muslim, you see every single sound written so that it will be pronounced exactly the same over centuries. Pretty much it is, okay? But you can follow this exactly with the short vowel sounds. Also, there's another time when it's written in textbooks for foreigners very often. In vocabulary lists, it'll give you the vowelling, because otherwise it's very difficult to learn unless you learn the words orally first, and you just know the words, so that when you start to learn to write, you say, oh, wait a minute, I already know what the word, I already know what it means. So you don't have a double whammy at the same time. You just have to focus on the writing because you already know how to say it, you already know how to use it, and you guys have been using this since day one, right? So now you know how, so now you can write a postcard home to mom or dad and say, oh, mom, keep halik. And let's say you don't write the vowelling. If your mother were able to read Arabic and you wrote this, would she know whether it's lick or lock? Right? Dear mom, keep hal, and you wrote this, would she know whether it's halik or halak? And now it says, oh, dear dad, you wrote another postcard to him so he didn't feel left out, right? And you wrote the exact same thing with no vowel sounds. Would he know whether you're writing halak or halik? Because you say, oh, my daughter's, oh, isn't that nice? My daughter is writing me a letter for my son and wrote me keep halak in Arabic. He would automatically pronounce it halak because he knows, oh, my daughter's writing me a mail, and he'll just pronounce it that way. Okay? So another time is simply context. Asiyak in Arabic will determine whether it's one way or the other way. Okay? All right? All right. So we have keep halak, keep halik. Now, I'm going to give you these sheets here. We're going to keep going this way with things that we already know how to say, right? Until eventually we know the whole alphabet. So I don't teach you Arabic script in Arabic alphabetic order. I teach you so that you can write things you already know. Then at the end, you'll know all of these, and then we'll look at the exact order after we finish pretty much the whole alphabet. I'm going to hand these out to you now. But some students, I'll just tell you, they like to highlight, with a yellow marker or whatever, and some put the date down here that they learned the letter. It's up to you. I'm not telling you one way or the other. I'm just saying it's an example of something you can do. And then you'll have a sheet that will tell you, oh, on this date I learned these letters, and if you want, you can have a different color for each day that we do it. Right? So roughly we'll do 5 or 6 per day that we do them when we go through and do the Arabic script. Okay? So I'm going to hand these out to you. John, I'm going to hand these to you if you would pass them this way, and then you guys could just pass them around. Okay? Thank you. Now we have about 5 minutes left, so I want to follow up and review some of the food stuffs that we did the last time. Okay? And then on your way out, I want you to pick up one of these handouts with foods on it. Okay? All right. So, shy. Everyone, shy.
Shy.
What's shy mean?
Tea.
Tea. Kakwa.
Kahwa.
What's kakwa?
Coffee.
Okay. Good. Asir portugal.
Asir Buka.
Okay. What's asir portugal?
Orange juice.
Remember, bu, not right? In Arabic, we have bu. So if you want a Pepsi in the Arab world, you order a Pepsi. Pepsi. All right? Pepsi takes great. Pumpkin Pepsi? Pumpkin. Pepsi possible? It's possible. Okay. Dajjaj, everyone? What does dajjaj mean?
Chicken.
Chicken, okay, dajjaj. Now when we study dialects, we're going to have other words for chicken, and very often food things will vary sometimes with vocabulary from one region to another. Okay? For example, there's a word how in standard Arabic that will mean peach, but in a lot of dialects it's pronounced hoch, and you will think that you're getting a peach because you said ana urid hoch, right? Hoch, and it's like, oh, I made that sound so good. Hoch, and then when you get it, you'll get a plum. It's like, how did I do that wrong? It's just, I just pronounce it different. Same letters, variation of the same thing. Okay, halib. So what was halib?
Milk.
Samak.
Samak.
So what's samak? Fish. Okay, samak. All right. Arroz.
Arroz.
What's arroz?
Rice.
What's that again?
Rice.
Rice. Okay, here's another one. Khubz. Everyone, khubz.
Hose.
Khubz.
Hose.
Khubz.
Hose.
Khubz means bread. Okay? Khubz.
Hose.
Ma.
Ma.
So khubz wa ma.
Ma.
So you'll never starve in the Arab world. At least you'll get bread and water. Okay? Khubz wa ma. Right? Okay. Khubz ma. Everyone? Ma.
Ma.
Khubz.
Hose.
Okay? Khubz is what?
Bread.
Alright. Khubz Arabi. Everyone? Khubz Arabi.
Hose Arabi.
Khubz Arabi.
Hose Arabi.
That's pita bread. Arab bread. Khubz Arabi. Okay? Khubz Arabi.
Hose Arabi.
Right. And even when you're in Israel, you can order khubz Arabi and get Arab bread, what we call pita bread. Okay? Khubz Arabi. Right? So you can put your falafel in the khubz Arabi. Right? Alright. Khubz. Samak. Samak.
Samak.
Samak.
Samak.
Mm-hmm. Batata.
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 What's batata?
Potato.
What? I didn't even teach you that. Right? Potato. Good. Batata. Okay? Oh. So what? Tufah.
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 Alright? Hal turid?
How to read.
Hal turidina?
How to read.
Leah. Hal turidina tufah?
Nuh-uh.
Naam.
Ana turidira.
Ana urid.
Ana urid to read.
Ana urid.
Tufa.
Tufah. Okay? Tufah means apples. Apples in general. Okay? Not just one, just apples in general. Okay? For some reason, students seem to think it sounds funny. Right? But it's just like with German classes, sometimes German high school classes, sometimes they get to verb conjugations and then there's a verb that says ear fart. And all the students start to laugh, right? And then German's like, what's so funny? You know, y'all are moving in some vehicle, driving or something, right? And American students are just cracking up, right? Okay? Be a lot of those sort of things in Arabic. Just roll with it, okay? All right. Tufah is apples, okay? Apples. All right. Moose.
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 Moose are bananas in general, okay? And not just a specific, but just bananas in general. Moose. Hal turid moose?
How to read moose.
Hal tuhib moose?
How to hit moose.
Na'am, ana uhib, okay? Uhib. Hal tuhib?
How to hit.
Right? Do you love? Do you like really like? Hal tuhibina?
How to read.
Hal tuhibina moose? Ana uhib?